Morning, guys and gals. Froggy here. I cannot tell you how many years I have been looking for a repair kit for my floor jacks, and I just couldn't seem to find anything anywhere. And I came across this company right there. There's their number, and they sent me a repair kit for my Craftsman, which is a good jack, but it's leaking, and I use these jacks a lot. I have a couple of Corvettes, and I have like 5 sets of wheels, so I'm always jacking them up and changing the wheels out. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to put that kit right there. That's the Craftsman kit. How to put it into the jack. Here we go. So the problem that I'm having with this jack, and I haven't done anything maintenance wise, it's probably, I think I got this when I moved to California around 89 or 90, so it's like a 30-year-old jack, and it's leaking right here, and it would still raise and lower, and it would do all the functions except it was leaking. So I figured it's probably got a flat O-ring in there. I just don't like things leaking on my floor. So I'm going to show you how to take it apart far enough to fix this leak. I don't know if I'll go further than that, but we'll see what we got into. Basically, I watched a few videos on YouTube about repairing jacks. There are a few out there, and I'm just going to start disassembling this one. This is Craftsman, made in China 30 years ago, and all I've done is like lube the wheels so that they would so it would glide around the floor a little bit easier. So let's take it apart. So to get this ram out, I'm going to have to take 4 pretty big Allen bolts out, 2 here, 2 on the other side, and I don't know if I've got that size. Let's go looking. Well, what do you know? I do. So, yeah, I got all the way up to 17 millimeter. Thanks, you guys in Taiwan who made that for me, and put a breaker bar on there. They're actually not on that tight. So let's get those off. I'm going to get my air gun out, not because I need the power, but just it's faster than turning them by hand. So that just drops loose and down. It's not under any tension or anything, but I will have to take off these connections here. This is the handle that you twist to open and close a valve inside, that when you shut it you can do the lifting, and when you open it, it bleeds off the pressure. And then this is that's just a return spring, so that the handle kind of pops back up, help you out when you're pumping it. So let me get those undone. I was able to actually just lift this. Well, it's upside down now, but I was able to lift it off. The only thing that was connected was the slide. It's just this sliding piece that connects the handle so you can turn through this universal to the valve. So I just lifted it off. Now I'm going to see if I can get into this leaky part here. Well, it looks like these 2 springs are holding things together, so I'm going to take those springs loose. I got those off with my vice grips, and now I think it's just this cotter pin that is holding this part of the ram to this part of the frame. So let's pull that. So there you see it in the middle of your frame there. Just take pliers and close that up and pull it out. Alright, so now we've got the part we need to work on, and we'll just get this out of the way. So there's our leak. Now, I think I'm going to drain the fluid out of this so that I just don't have a big mess when I pull that ram out. So just unscrew that one that's sticking up there. Those other 2 do not adjust. Those are the adjustments so you don't overpressurize the ram. And the one that's sticking up a little bit, that's the hole where the fluid goes. and that one in the middle might also be another hole where the fluid goes. I'm going to save this fluid and reuse it because it looks nice and clean, and also I don't think I have a supply of hydraulic jack fluid. I would not substitute motor oil or anything else. Hydraulic jack fluid is probably some kind of a special, not complicated, but it's probably some special formulation. Other things like motor oils have different additives in them. So you're going to watch out for your O-rings. So we'll save this jack oil. So there, I just propped it up over a small bucket, and they are both draining oil, and not that much. You can see what's in the bottom, maybe 6 ounces. I don't know, less than 6 ounces. I'm just going to let it drain a little bit. Time for lunch. Be back. All right, then, I'm back. So we got, I would say about 4 to 6 ounces. And it looks dirty, but I think it's probably okay. I'm going to put it back in, and then I will probably replace it when I go by one of the stores and pick up some jack oil. So let's get to this. Oh boy, I got to figure out how to get that nut off. Well, I think I should go buy a lottery ticket. I've got these jumbo sockets, 3/4 inch drive. What do you figure? The biggest one that I've got, 2-inch. It's a fit. Ha! How about that? You can tell it's never been opened from looking at this paint. I might have to put this in a vise. I don't even know if that's going to do it. I might have to put something in here to extend out like a leg, and then I can turn on the other one, and that'll give me some back tension. Let's see. I think this is going to go on the floor. Well, the air gun is actually getting it. I'm going to need 2 hands, but you get the idea. So I pull that off. Make sure this is clean before you pull it off. You don't want to pull the O-ring seal. Even though you're going to replace it, it's just a good practice. You don't want to pull an O-ring seal through a gritty area. So right inside there, let's see if I got a light. There's an O-ring right there, and that's the one that's leaking, 99% sure. So let's see if we've got that part in our kit. Take a little pick tool, or even a paper clip, probably a bent paper clip if you don't have this, and carefully get that old one out of there. So there we have our new one, and I'm gonna, basically this is flattened out, mostly flattened out, and it's kind of gotten hard over the years. Yeah, it's hard and it's flattened out, especially like this inside edge has a real flat on it instead of being round. So that's our problem. I am not going to replace a bunch of other stuff on this. The kit gives you everything you need, except for a couple of really specialized pieces that you probably do not need because they're pieces that do not wear out. So here's the thing. I would get the kit because you don't know what you're going to run into when you take this apart. You don't know what other pieces, O-rings, or these other special pieces, you don't know what you're going to need to replace. There's some ball bearings there. So let me put this back in there, put it back together, put some oil in it, and then we're going to try it. Now I'm going to show you one other thing. I did pull this ram out, and right here there is quite a bit of wear. I think you can see it. And I think that this point right here is what causes a jack to creep down once you've jacked a car up, and then it starts to creep down. I think this is that seal right there, so I'm going to replace this part here too. Part or parts. Yeah, this piece right here is the replacement, and it's going to be like 100% better condition than the one I'm taking off. There's a little snap ring that I'll take off. I'll take some snap ring pliers and get that snap ring off. Well, there's an O-ring inside of here in addition to this sleeve type thing, so I'm going to get that too. I'll have to unscrew this piece here. Yeah, this right here is one of the parts you don't get, and the reason is you don't need it because it doesn't wear out. It's just like a spacer. Okay? This little part that I'm going to turn now is just hand tight. So when you put it back, just put it hand tight. Give it a little tap maybe, and that's it. Here's another little piece here that you don't need because it doesn't wear out. So it doesn't come in the kit. There's another one on the other side of the O-ring. That's the O-ring that I just pulled out. So one of those, they look like Teflon. They might not be Teflon, but one on each side of this O-ring that I'm replacing. And you don't get them, you don't need them. Just reuse them. And there's a new O-ring right in the middle of the screen. That's the one I'm going to stick in there. That's the old one in the middle that I'm going to throw away. Okay, so I replaced that smallest one inside this blue sleeve. It's a seal, and then the O-ring that seals around this, which was the main leaking one. But I had more than a leak. I didn't want this jack to lower itself, which is what I'm replacing these other ones to prevent. They're overdue. So this blue piece is supposed to sit down inside of a little lip there on the plastic piece, and it's a tight fit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in there or not, but if you don't get it in there, then you can't get the snap ring on. I'm wondering if I could leave this off, because the seal is here. This is the seal. Nothing to do down there. This is pretty much a spacer. Or I might grind this lip off here. I might try that. I hesitate because I don't have a replacement for this. But I'm having a little trouble getting all these pieces together and getting the snap ring on. Well, I made a decision. I'm going to grind this lip off because I can't get this blue in there. So I got my Dremel out. I'm just going to grind it off so that it's flat. It's a flat spacer, that's all. Okay, so here we go. I ground it flat. I might have been able to find a little nylon spacer in my parts bin, but I don't know if the thickness and diameter inside outside would be right, so I just ground this one down. If one of you guys and gals thinks I've screwed up royally here, put it down in the comments, but I think this is going to work. So, okay, that's it. I took a socket, 7/8 socket, and put it down. I'll show you. Put it down like that and tapped on the snap ring until it snapped in there. So it's in there good. I think I am okay on this little modification that I did. And the sealing edge is right there. It's a perfect sealing edge. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to get into this anymore. I'm going to put it back together. Those leftover parts are some of like the big outer. Some of them are the little O-rings like here, like mine are fine. I don't think, maybe I'll put them on or maybe I won't. They're like the O-rings on there, or the big O-ring. Yeah, that one, I'll probably replace that one. But the critical ones are the 1, 2, and the 3. Those 3 to me are the critical ones. Was causing leaking and may have also caused slippage. So going back together. I meant to tell you, and I will tell you now, lubricate all these parts with a little bit of jack oil as you're putting it back together. It'll be a little hard to get it started in there. I put it up like this and just kind of leaned on it with my whole weight in two hands. Then once you get it going, it'll go in much easier. I mean, you know, you still got to be a little bit muscly about it. Okay, so I shoved it down there. Now I did use the big O-ring for this cap. So those are the ones I used. Those I didn't use, but you might need them if you have to get into this more. I know there's some more O-rings right there where I'm pointing inside there. Possibly here too. So anyway, I'm going to put it back together. I did put the oil through a paint strainer just to make sure there weren't any particles that get in there. Let's put this ram back into the rest of the jack. Alrighty, so I got it all back together. Just do the reverse of how I took it apart, and there really wasn't anything too tricky about it except make sure this is pointed the right way to go back in there and to connect. Make sure you got your cotter pin really straight, because that one's a little tricky to get through. I'm going to fill it up with oil, and then I will test it, just going up and down, and also I'll leave it up overnight on one corner of the car and see if it's in the same place in the morning. So that should be a pretty good test. You will have to bleed this when you refill it. Bleeding it just means fill it up until you can't put any more in, then pump it for a while. The level should go down, fill it up again, pump it, fill it, pump it, fill it, pump it until the level doesn't go down anymore. Okay, I will post in the comments if it passes the froggy test. I think that it will. Give me a thumbs up or a like if this helps you out, and subscribe to my channel if you want more from Froggy. See you later. On again, that kit I gave you in the beginning there, that's hcrcnow.com. And if I can get them to put this kit up on Amazon, then I will link to my YouTube video, a link to Amazon, and then you'll be able to get it real easy. Okay, see you later. Froggy out. Bye-bye.